Let's imagine we could travel faster than the speed of light with a warp drive. Is that even possible from a physical point of view? How could we use such a drive and what opportunities would open up for us? And last but not least, could we develop spaceships with that technology in the near future? Let us find out together today and here on Let's Imagine. Please consider subscribing. It's free, it's easy, and you're signed up to see more imaginational craziness. Mankind's current understanding of traveling with warp speed dates back to 1994, when a theoretical physicist named Miguel Alcubierre first proposed what we've called the Alcubierre Drive ever since. This drive conforms to Einstein's theory of general relativity to achieve superluminal travel. This form of travel is based on the bending of space-time. The space-time would expand behind the spaceship and contract in front of it. The term warp drive originates in science fiction and is most famously used in the Star Trek movies. The Federation's warp drive works by colliding matter and antimatter and converting the explosive energy to propulsion. It is suggested that this extraordinary power alone pushes the ship faster than the speed of light. Recent research at the University of Göttingen may have built a foundation for a real model of a warp drive. A scientist called Eric Lenz has created a theoretical design of a warp drive that is actually based on conventional physics. In previous designs there always was a need for a source of exotic matter, but this theory overcomes this need by reimagining the shape of warped space. A specific form of space-time bubbles that scientists had overlooked in previous models took the shape of compact waves that maintain their whip while moving at constant velocity. Lenz rederived Einstein's equations for different soliton configurations until he found one that worked with conventional energy sources. This discovery brings the implementation of a warp drive back into the realm of the technically possible and gives hope for promising future models. So, if there was a model that would work, how could we make it work, and which opportunities would open up for humanity? First of all, we would need to build a spaceship. Sturdy enough and with a big enough power source to deal with the requirements of a warp drive. Dr. White of NASA's Johnson Space Center already presented a model back in 2013 that includes his discovery of making the torus of a spaceship thicker, while reducing the space available for the ship. That allows the size of the torus to be greatly decreased, down to a width of 10 meters or 30 feet for a ship traveling 10 times the speed of light. Such a ship, which is divided into command and service modules, would properly fit inside a warp bubble. If we had a working spaceship, we would finally have the possibility to travel long distances in a very short time. This would lead to the discovery of new galaxies and eventually to the discovery of many habitable planets. We could explore potentially habitable exoplanets that we know by now, like Proxima Centauri b, in relatively no time. This would eventually lead to humanity spreading everywhere in space and colonizing new planets very quickly. The possibilities to extend our civilization over the whole universe would then only be limited by what we would find there. But this consideration is material for many more hypothetical considerations to come, so stay tuned. Ultimately, every discovery brings us one step closer to interstellar travel. But even though the new model of Lenz stated earlier is based on conventional energy sources, it still needs vast amounts of energy to work. For example, the creation of a warp bubble for a 656-foot wide spacecraft traveling at the speed of light would require roughly 100 times the energy contained in the mass of Jupiter. That's about 30 orders of magnitude higher than the power of modern nuclear reactors. So, to ease the tension a little bit, we are nowhere near of having a real working spaceship with a warp drive by now. There are still a lot of unanswered questions, like how to achieve artificial gravity or how to overcome the effects of long space travel on the human body. Proxima Centauri b, for example, is 4.24 light years away. So, to really travel other planets in no time, we would not just have to find out how to travel with the speed of light, we would need to find out how to travel multiple times the speed of light. In the end, the possibilities that could result from the development of a warp drive are almost endless. The expansion of knowledge, space to live, and the discovery of other life forms are just a few of the things that would themselves lead to a completely new perception of our world. But what we can say though is that we need to take all of these facts into consideration. The rest is up for your imagination. How would you imagine a spaceship with warp drive? Let us know in the comments.